everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Homeopathy Around the World. In this episode, we will be talking to a guest from a country which is known for its vibrant culture and very delicious cuisine. Our guest is María Fernanda Aguilar Dueñas from Mexico. Maria has a degree in homeopathic medicine and she is pursuing a postgraduate degree in health sciences. She is also the representative of International Academy of Classical Homeopathy for Latin America. Welcome, dear Fair, to this episode of Homeopathy Around the World. Welcome, dear Fair, to the series of Homeopathy Around the World.
Hello, dear Neeta. Thank you very much for this invitation. Thank you also for your warm welcome. I am very happy to be here to talk a little bit more about all this journey. Thank you very much.
First of all, Fair, I'm very curious to know that whether all Mexican names are so long.
yeah, I always make this joke because you know that Mexican people is like very, how can I say, with a very hot blood, this kind of very intense personalities and all those things. So the modern Mexicans always are like also very with very strong personality. You know?
I can almost imagine María Fernanda
Aguilar Dueñas. Yeah.
Okay, so now I definitely prefer calling you Fair.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Fair, you are one of the youngest guests in our series. I'm very curious again to know what brought you to study homeopathy.
I think that it was something about the deepness, about these signs that like completely got me, because I realized that it was very deep for my mind. It was very, I had to learn more, and I had to have more answers about what was these signs, because my whole life I was treating with homeopathy, but I didn't know how actually work by that time. And that after that, I remember that I was like looking for something that really filled my heart. And I remember that it was like this kind of research about myself also. And I started to read. My first book about homeopathy was about the professor Vithoulkas, The Science of Homeopathy. And I remember that I was like, okay, this is super interesting. It was like my mind like it exploded. Yeah, and I remember that I wanted to know more and more about this, and I wanted more answers, and I started, and then I decided to study homeopathy like as a career.
Awesome. Because why? Because you were the lucky one to be actually treated with homeopathy from childhood. Not many are blessed to have that. They may find later in their life, but you were right from the beginnings. As a child, you knew only about homeopathy, because children do fall sick, and it is the best way to get yourself treated or treat your children is by this beautiful holistic way, which stimulates your own vital force to bring about the cure. And you started from then, and obviously looks like you were somehow guided towards taking this as life's mission. It's almost sounds like that you're happiest when you are studying this now. So not only you're blessed, I think so the homeopathic fraternity will be blessed, because youth like you being in this education is very, very important for its future. Being with homeopathy makes you generally a much better person, and you can't help it but be a good person. That is the journey where it is leading us to be. And also, from your talk, I see a lot of similarity between how children are treated in India, the place where I was born, and how it is in Mexico. So It is recognized as one of the systems you can quickly, it is not that you go to other conventional systems and then come to alternative systems, but it is adopted as the first line of treatment by many of them. So very
Oh,
interesting to see the similarity between the two countries.
yes, myself, even myself, when I was working in a center of health,
Mm.
and there were a lot of medical doctors, odontologists, and all those things, and the doctor that were like the director of the center, usually if arrived a child with a little flu or something like that, she usually sent them to us, to the homeopath. So the first line also in some centers of health are homeopathy for a lot of childs.
So do you know how homeopathy reached Mexico? Do you know some part of history about it?
You know, after Hahnemann taught their teachings, and there were like a lot of movement of their students to all over the world, and to Mexico arrived. So there were Spanish homeopaths here in Mexico. But by that time, it was like in 1850, in the 1850 more or less, there were a president of Mexico who were very sick, and the doctors couldn't save him. He was very sick. He saw a lot of other medical doctors, and nobody could help him. So there was a Spanish homeopath who cured him. So this was very important, because after that, the name of the president is Porfirio Diaz. He is a very famous president in Mexico and also in Latin America for a lot of other things that I don't want to tell. But he had like a very strong personality and very strong character. So he started, after this homeopath cured him, he started to give all his support to the homeopaths, to start promoting the universities, to start promoting like the hospitals. And by that time, they were funded a hospital, and after a medical school for homeopaths. So this was like super huge things for all the students and the people in Mexico. And after that, there were some other schools, some other universities that started teaching homeopathy and medical schools. So I think that we are blessed because of those Spanish homeopaths and because our ex-president of Mexico.
So once one person experiences the miraculous cure that can come with homeopathy, that opens up so many things. And see how the president of Mexico, who got cured with homeopathy, then made sure that this particular system of medicine reaches many and many.
Actually, Mexico was one of the first countries that like the homeopathy were officially approved, like in the government, in the law. It was one of the first of all the world. So I think that that's why in Mexico, right here in this moment in present, we have a lot of support from the government.
Excellent. It's always so nice to hear about the kind of support that globally homeopathy is receiving.
Yes.
But what is the current position of homeopathy in Mexico right now? I would like to know from both point of views, from education point of view as well as practice point of view.
I think from education point of view, I think that is very sad, because there is a lot of emptiness in the structure of education, because even when we support of the government, we have support, but I don't know if it's something about political issues that the schools doesn't have like this very strong support, very strong like structure, the education. I don't know if it's because from very high levels there is a lot of like that they want to give us something bad, something that doesn't help homeopaths, but we don't really know. But the thing is that the structure of education is very empty, is very like there is a lack of something, because when I started to study the e-learning program, I noticed that everything was completely different.
So from education point of view, what I hear is that the curriculum is not well designed or supported. Even though overall homeopathy is very much acceptable in Mexico, the curriculum for the education is not very well structured and supported.
Yeah, exactly, because
Hmm.
there are three important universities about homeopathy in Mexico. One of them is like one of the best universities that it was founded by Proceso Sánchez Ortega, the famous Ortega. And this school is very good. This school is like you finish very well prepared, very is really good. But that school is just in Mexico City. So if you want to study homeopathy with a real basis, with real structure, you have to travel to Mexico City. In all the country, like for example, in my city, there is a lack of this structure. There are some universities, but the education is not really good, unfortunately.
And how about from practice point of view? What is the status there?
I think that this is something really good because we have the National Hospital of Homeopathy in Mexico City, and for them, their first line of treating patients is with homeopathy. So this is really good. They have deliveries, they have surgeries, all these things. But their first line is homeopathy, their first line to treat the patients. And in my city, for example, I work in this center of health, and the support is really good. I learned a lot because there were a lot of patients. There were sometimes that I had like in 6 or 7 hours, I could saw like, I don't know, 20 to 25 patients in that time. So you used to saw patients like from child, old people, woman, everything, and this is really good because you get some experience for your practice, but if you want to practice homeopathy in another hospital, like in hospital that is not a homeopathy hospital, is very difficult to be there. You have to have a friend or something like that, or another person that or you are in touch to start practicing there, because in that way is very, very difficult.
So it's much better than what we have been hearing from other countries. At least there is an acceptability, openness, and it's also the first line of treatment in the hospital that you first described. And that's fantastic. So we wish we hear more of this in other countries too. So Fair, you are the representative for International Academy of Classical Homeopathy for Latin America. So when we talk about classical homeopathy, how is it in Mexico? Is there a good awareness about classical homeopathy? Do people know the difference?
Yeah, I think that we have both sides. We have the classical and non-classical homeopaths. But I think for all about, I have heard from other people that we are better than other countries in this, because I think that the classical homeopathy is the most predominant in Mexico because of the teachers that have been here in Mexico, or the Mexican homeopaths that are famous. Like Proceso Sánchez Ortega, Higinio G. Pérez, some other Mexican homeopaths that have very strong basis and very strong structure in their education. And I think that that's one of the things, because there is more classical homeopathy in my country, fortunately for us.
That's again one more feather in the cap, and this is again one more difference that I'm hearing when I'm talking to homeopaths from other countries. So there is awareness about how classical homeopathy is single remedies, single doses, and minimum
Yeah.
doses, and yeah, repetitions are minimal as much as required by
Mm,
the persons. So
yeah.
that's very interesting to know a big difference between many other countries that I've been chatting with. So you yourself have first studied, you have a degree in homeopathy, and then you did this postgraduate diploma from the International Academy of Classical Homeopathy from Greece. So
Mhm.
you have both the things with you. So,
Mhm.
what made you take this second course, and did it make a difference? What difference it brought to you?
Yes, it was completely different. I think that for me, it was like a super open eyes for me. It was like, before and after the e-learning program. Because even I always say this to the students that I motivate to take the e-learning course, that I was still studying in the university when I was also taking the e-learning program. So I had these both educations at the same time. I had my classes in the university with my teachers, and I also had the classes with the professor Vithoulkas. So at the same time, I was like comparing what I was learning in the university and what I was learning with the e-learning program. And I noticed that there this kind of emptiness in my university specialty. It was because there were a lot of lines of how to study homeopathy, how to take a patient, how to treat a patient. There were a lot of lines. So if you don't have one line as a student, at the end you will be lost. So I think that this helped me a lot, because I started to study the e-learning program, and I attached to a single line, and I was like, okay, I am learning this, and I am going to also like be responsible with the university, because I have to have my degree. But I am pretty sure that my line is that with the professor Vithoulkas. And it was very interesting because we started to see patients in the classes. We started to see how to take a case and all those things. And I remember that all my fellows in the university also were very surprised, because I had all the teachings of the professor, and even my teachings in the university were like, okay, why do you know that, or why are you so fluent with your patients, or how do you know that? And I was like, because I am studying the learning program, because I am preparing in the other side. And I remember that even my own teachers asked me for help for the patients. So I used to be like, I don't know, like 22, 23 years old by that time, and my own teachers were asking for my help. But I remember that I used to tell them, okay, if you want to study, if you want to be more ready to treat a patient, you have to study the e-learning program. And there were people that took the program, there were people that not, and it's okay. But this is the huge difference that I always tell to the students that wants to study homeopathy, that the attachment to a single line is like a big really push to your practice in homeopathy. And also like this structure that the learning program has. So the difference was like super huge.
I think, this is a very unique sharing from you, Fair, because here we have you sharing about how you were pursuing a degree in homeopathy, and you were also on the side parallelly doing this e-learning course. I myself am amazed to hear that, the kind of boost it gave to your learning, or the kind of insight you got from the e-learning course, that even it was so noticeable in the classrooms where your own teachers noticed it, your fellow students noticed it, and you were asked, "What are you doing? How are you learning this?"
And I remember that I used to tell them, there are no secrets. You have to study the learning program, you know. You have to attach to a single line. You don't have to be like looking for other lines, like looking for flower remedies or other kind of therapies that I don't have any problem with them. But if you really want to learn homeopathy, you have to attach to a just one therapy. If you are very ready in homeopathy, then you can start with other therapies. But if you are like taking this therapy and taking another therapy, and you don't have even the basis of homeopathy, that I think that is the problem, because you don't have even the most basic fundamentals in the science that you are studying mainly. So by that time, I remember that I was very very angry because it's like this kind of feeling that you are saying, if you want to be more prepared, you have to study, you have to be more more strong, more. But now I understand that this is okay also.
This is very genuinely wise words from you, Fair, at your age, young age. I'm sure it's making a lot of meaning. And like you said, that there's no shortcut, there's no magic pill you swallow, and then everything is falls in place. You have to put in your effort. You have to identify what is it that you want to do, and then you can focus on that particular line or the way of practice or studies. And you have benefited, and you seem to be very inspired by the e-learning course, and it has benefited you so much, not only you but people around you. So that's
Yeah.
what more would we want. So very wise words, and very
Thank
inspiring
you.
words. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we come to the next question, and this is again related to, we can't help it but seeing you as at your age doing so many things. So any tips on how we can encourage and motivate the younger generation to study homeopathy and take it up as a profession?
Yeah, well, I think that I speak by my own experience. I was also very blessed because I had a lot of guidance in my journey. I even today I have a lot of guidance. I remember that I had a teacher, a professor in the university that was also for me very important by that time. And I think that it's a matter of conviction. It's a matter of what you want for your life, because I had been blessed of find my journey from very young. But what I can say to the other young people or other young generations is that this journey will bring you a lot of growth, not only professionally, not only as a woman, but also as a human being, as your deepness, the most deep in your heart will grow in a way that you cannot imagine, because you will see people suffering and you will have the opportunity to help them. So this is one of the most satisfying things that you will have in your life. So fortunately for me, I started very young, and I didn't had like all these and all these part of the of your young ages when you are in a party and you are like drinking and all those things. I didn't have them. I didn't have it in that way, because I think that my heart was filled. So what I can say to other young homeopaths, or people that wants to study homeopathy since a very young age, is this: that you will, I promise you that you will have a great satisfaction in your life, and this will bring you a lot of growth, and this does not have price. And I think that I will say that to all those people.
These were so beautiful, lovely words, beautiful words. And I'm just hoping more and more young students of homeopathy are watching this and listening to Fair about how homeopathy can mean much more than just being a profession. It
Exactly.
is, yeah, it is so promising, and it gives you so much of satisfaction that, at certain point of life, you go beyond the usual wants and desires, and then you are looking for something more. And actually, when you are in this path of homeopathy, you are assured that you are taken care of in that aspect also. So very
Exactly.
beautiful sharing, Fair, and it's not only the youth, but I think so all of us will be inspired.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Can you
another thing, yeah, don't worry. And also another thing that I will promise to the young students is that you will never be bored. There is a lot of there's a lot of things that you have to study, so you will never be get bored. So I will promise you.
So we are also aware for that you are actively involved in all the work related to the progress in the field of homeopathy. So can you share a little bit more with us what all you are doing for the progress of homeopathy?
Yes, I think that, well, the main thing that I am doing for the progress of homeopathy is that I am doing it with love and with passion. And also, I have this great opportunity of work in the BHC channel with Maria and with Biraj and with all the IACH people that are getting involved. So I have this great opportunity of can share the experience of the people from all over the world, from their knowledge, their teachings, their progress, their journeys in homeopathy also. And I have learned that all of us have this strong commitment with the mission of the awareness of classical homeopathy in the world. So I think that it is another blessing that I have, and that I have this opportunity of chat with people from all other parts of the world, to see also their passion, to see also their commitment, their work, and to this also feels you a lot. This also, like, you get very close. You feel that you are not alone in this journey, and I think that that's another of the blessings that I have.
Yeah. So you spoke about the love and passion that is filled in you, first of all, and how being with this primary blessings, you go about and you do a lot of work. You do it, I'm sure, with your research, with your patients, and more or less that I what I hear from you is your work with the Vithoulkas homeopathic channel. It's giving you a lot of satisfaction because you are connecting with many homeopaths. We are
Yeah.
connecting with those homeopaths who are committed towards this beautiful field of medicine, and they also are connected by the same love and passion for this subject. So
Exactly.
Wonderful that all this beautiful episodes that you air through VHC channel, we enjoy watching it and we keep waiting for the new ones too.
Thank you.
So when you are filled with love and passion for a subject, and when you are treating patients, it is but natural that your patients also feel it. And
Yes.
yeah, the healing is better, the cure is better. They are much better understood. And as you said, it's not just one person who's benefiting; the whole community gets benefit in
Mm.
the process. So yes, it's very very profound. If you look at the statement also, with love and passion, when we study, how much impact it can bring to the whole world. Yeah.
It will have waves at the end, because it is not something that you do for you. It is something that you do because you like it, but it is not something that you are for yourself, but you are doing for others. So it will have a lot of weights at the end.
And you seem to be doing a lot of studies, work, and I do know that there are many other roles that you play. So how do you juggle so many things? And one thing, how does a typical day look for fur? How is it?
Well, right now I am. I think that this phrase that says that I do not have time. I think that that is not real, because you have your own time. You have to do your own time. That's what I wanted to say. Because if you really want to do something, you will find like a place in your schedule to do that. So right now I think that this is how I am like working. Like I try to have a balance in my life, with my family, with my boyfriend, with the school, with my friends.
Do you have a role model in your life whom you follow so that you achieve your goals? Is there something there?
Yeah, I think that since I was very young, I used to see these women that were like very dedicated, like were like very strong. I remember that my first role model in my life was my aunt. I remember that she used to get up like at 5 a.m. in the morning, and all day she was working, and she used to be very affectionate with us, and she used to give us a lot of love even when she was very busy all day. And I remember that when I was young, I used to say, I want to be like her. When I get old, I want to be like her. I want to be very, hard worker, very responsibility, have a lot of responsibilities, And now, of course, she is one of my role models, but also I think that a woman that have all these abilities, all these kind of strong capacities, all these values, strong values in their heart. And I think that when I see a person that is like this, when I see a woman that is in this way, I also I in my mind is also like this kind of, you have all my respect, and I want to be like you. I think that dear Maria Chorianopoulou is one of these persons that have taught me a lot of things and have taught me a lot of responsibilities, courage, and values, and also this kind of brave heart, because in Mexico, women are like more always, as a woman, you will have a lot of troubles because you are less than a man. Is something very common. you as a woman, you just have to, you are here to have children and you are here to get married. And if you are 35 years old, you are very old to get married. So, yeah, because you are here as a woman to have child, and that's your only role in your life. So when I started to have this closeness with dear Maria, for me it was very like impressive. It was a really good impact in my life, and that's why I love her very much, because he have taught me a lot of things, and she has this kind of these kind of things that I admire a lot.
That brings so many thoughts in my mind, dear Far, because why listening to this, I'm sure there is a lot of commonality in many cultures who also have this issue about equality of genders. Yeah, and we can see that how beautifully you have made this observation into a strength. You get inspired by not just one but many women who portray these values of you use the word brave heart, and I really like it a lot. Yeah, standing for own values, your own position, based on your own talent, and being able to do many other things than just being falling into the role that was defined in much earlier days. I'm sure you yourself, Fair, will one day with this talent be a role model to many other women, and we wish you luck for that. We not because the hardworking part and the capability part are all with you. We can see that. So one day you will be a role model to many others. And at this point, I also would like to, reaffirm that you spoke about Maria Corianopoulou, who is the director of IACH. And she is indeed a very inspiring woman, and she does so much more behind the scenes, and many of us are inspired by her. So I would like to second that on that. And we are very lucky to know a person like this, like Maria, in our lives. Yeah. Yeah, it's indeed very beautiful. And, this is such a apt closure to our episode about inspiring braveheart individuals who can change the world. And especially the change, since we are talking of homeopathy, we would love to see the progress of homeopathy. And that brings us to one of the parts or one of the sections of our episode that I like very much, and that is Toast to Homeopathy. So, Fair, do you have your orange juice glass with you?
Sure, I have it here right now.
Wonderful, wonderful. So when we toast, we will toast it by the three very important words in homeopathy, which is similia, similibus, curenter. So let's go together and say it together for the progress of homeopathy.
Similia, similibus, curenter.
For the progress of homeopathy.
For the progress of homeopathy.
That brings us to the end of this episode. But Fair, being young and passionate in whatever you are doing, I'm sure a very bright future lies ahead of you. And I would like to thank you for coming on this episode of Homeopathy Around the World. Wonderful having you with us, dear Fair.
Thank you very much, dear Neeta, for this invitation. I really enjoy it a lot. And thank you also for all the work that you have done. It is wonderful what you are doing. Thank you for that naturality and genuity that you are doing. So thank you very much also for all of you that are behind the screen and are watching us, because I am pretty sure that this will bring you a lot of likes in your life in this journey, because we need this. So see you in the next time. Thank you very much.
Friends, now both Fair and I would like to know the answer to one of the questions. How do we encourage the youth of today to take up homeopathic studies? and to become homeopathic practitioner as a professional? Do put your answers in the comments below. With this, we come to the end of this episode of Homeopathy Around the World, and we will see you in the next episode in an exciting country with an exciting conversation with yet another very interesting guest. This is me, Neeta Kaapor, signing off. Thank you for watching.